Hey guys, welcome back to today's video and welcome if you are new. Today we are going to be doing a reading wrap-up video and today is actually giving very cozy feelings right now. I'm loving it. It's been raining all day, which typically I hate the rain, but I have nowhere to go. So I'm at home and it's cozy and the weather's not crazy hot right now. So it's giving fall feelings. So I've got my cozy sweater on. I got my hot coffee. We're talking about books, but since we're feeling that, it was like it's a perfect day to do my wrap up. Now, if you guys have been here for a while, you know that I typically do my monthly reading wrap-ups every 2 months just because I'm not super fast of a reader. I don't read that many books. So to do every month, I only have a few books to talk about. I lump them together and do every 2 months. But I did skip my last reading wrap-up solely because I have read almost nothing. I guess you would call it a reading slump. It wasn't an official one. I am currently pregnant. I am officially like fully into my second trimester. But for the first trimester, I don't know why, but reading just was something I was very adverse to, which is a very weird thing to say. I've talked about it in my first trimester recap. If you guys want to see that, I'll link that in the description for you. But it was just a weird thing that happened reading. I just couldn't handle it. Like, I don't know why. The thought of like looking at a page with words literally made me sick to my stomach to think about. So it was a very weird thing, very weird feeling. So it took me a really long time before I could start reading books again and really getting into it. So I have a very, very small list right now, which is crazy to say for 4 months worth of reading. But it is what it is. But I was like, well, there was no point in doing it my last wrap up because I think I had read like 2 books and I'm like, well, doesn't even warrant a video at that point. So it's like, let's just skip it and we'll do a clump of 4 months and maybe I'll have some books to tell you guys about, which I do, but it's probably gonna be a short video just because I don't have that many books to talk about. And I do have a couple series in here, so I feel like that makes it go a little faster. But let's jump in. So the first one that I read, I do not have a physical copy of. I had read it on Kindle Unlimited, I think it was. It was I Hate You More by Alexandra Moody. I have read one other book by her, and I did rate that one 4 stars. But looking back, I had to like reread what it was about because it had been so long. I don't really remember it. But then I refreshed my memory and it was a very cute book. I don't know if I want to stick to the 4-star rating, but I don't know. For now I am. It was just an easy, light-hearted YA romance fiction book. Kind of a enemies to lovers, but not. They're just like a nemesis in high school. And the girl's father agrees to let this guy that she kind of like hates, that goes to her school, who's always like picked on her and been mean to her, like move in with them because he's having some kind of like family issues or something. I don't really remember. But he moves in and she's like, well, why is he here? I don't want him here. So she tries to come up with a plan to get him kicked out. So you know what's going to happen. You're expecting it to happen, but it's still fun when it happened. And so it was a nice, clean, no spice, but fun little YA romance. So I did really enjoy that one. It had just been so long since I read it that I just didn't even remember what it was about, but it was a good one. After that, I did jump into some rereads because I had hit such a slump. I also had read so many books that I just didn't like, that I had seen recommendations like on Book Talk and BookTube and just everywhere else that other people were like super loving, and then I'd read them and I just didn't like them. I was just getting really burnt out with that. So I was like, let's do some rereads. So I did reread Twilight. I have not read this in so long. I think honestly since like when it first came out, when I was like, I might have been younger than high school. I don't know. I was very little and I read these books, but I do really love them. Did only read, so I read Twilight, then I read, of course, New Moon, which is my favorite book in the series, and then of course also Eclipse. I did not read Breaking Dawn, and I don't know, I might not. Like, that's such a long book, and I don't know, I'm Team Jacob, and I just kind of was like, I know how it goes, I've seen the movies, so I didn't reread Breaking Dawn, but did read obviously the first 3, and it was a very nice walk down memory lane. Of course you forget a lot of the details, and I did love it. I actually had to like buy this book because I never had the first book. I don't know why, so I bought it. That's why it's like the weird, I don't like this cover with like the weird word broken up like that. Not my favorite, but Reread these, they were great. 5 stars all around, kind of a deal. So that was super fun. That did really help me to kind of get out of that slump, read something I know I'm going to enjoy at the end of it, but didn't fully remember all the details. So it was kind of like reading it for the first time again. It was a nice little easing into reading again. So I read I Hate You More and Twilight in May. Then I read New Moon in June, and that was it for June, was just New Moon. Then I picked up Eclipse, and I read that one along with one other book for July. And that was The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walter? I never know how to say that last name. Of course, I've heard a million things about this book. It's been all over the internet. Everyone's been loving it and raving about it since last summer and even the summer before. Like, people are always talking about, like, this is the summer book you should get, or one of the summer books you should get. So I finally picked it up. It was cute, but I didn't absolutely love it. It was like a 3-star for me, honestly. It was the timeline that really bugged me about this book. If you've read it, you know it's about a girl whose family always goes to, is it Martha's Vineyard? Yeah, Martha's Vineyard every summer, and like the whole extended family goes. And it's this whole fun time, and they always play a game of assassin during the stay there. And a girl and her parents have not been for a little bit because they had someone in their family pass away. So I'm not giving any spoilers. It says this on the back. So it was her sister passed away, and so they finally are going back to Martha's Vineyard for the first time in a while for a family member's wedding. There's a game of assassin, but there's some groomsmen there, a specific groomsman there that the main character meets. And of course they fall in love. So it's like a summer romance kind of a thing. I did like that it was a little bit deeper because it brought in the sister. But my biggest thing about it, and this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler, so I'll put a timestamp of when I end that spoiler, so you can skip to that if you don't want to hear it. But what I did not like is that it's over the span of a week. And this girl goes from having like just broken up with her boyfriend to going on vacation and like being fully, completely in love with this guy, and it's been a week. Like, literally, it's like 2 days, and she's like, I can't stop thinking about him, and I just want to be with him, and he's just so great. And like, excuse me? Like, you learned of his existence 3 days ago. What in the world? So that was like, I just couldn't get past that, honestly. I just could not get past it because I'm like, come on now. Like, that's just so unrealistic. Now, of course, it's a book, and so it's supposed to be unrealistic, but I don't know, it just hit me, I guess, at the wrong time. I'm like, no, I'm not flying with that. That's not working for me. Other than that, I did actually really like it. I did really like the guy. The conflict was a little iffy for me, where I'm like, no, if that, I don't know how I feel about that, but all around it's a decent book. I wouldn't not recommend it. If you're wanting a nice summer read, like everyone mentions, this is a good book. It is a little bit sad, but it's also a little bit funny. So it's all around a decent book. Like I said, 3 stars. It wasn't anything great, but it wasn't anything terrible either. So, and I finally got it off my TBR because it's been sitting there for forever. And the cover's really pretty. Honestly, that's just a pretty cover. So that's what we read for July. Then jumping into August, 2 books. That's all I got this month as well. We're slowly working up. At least it's more than 1 book for the whole month. But these are small books. And this is also the beginning of a series, which I do plan to finish, hopefully soon. And is also a reread. It is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And then, of course, the sequel, Killer Instinct. But it's just funny that I picked these up when I did because they've like kind of popped off on the book community on social media out of nowhere, it seems like, which is crazy to me because I've loved these books for forever. And I've always just loved Jennifer Lynn Barnes ever since reading this series. It's such a phenomenal series, and knowing her and her writing and this book series is what made me buy Inheritance Games, which I even also read before that went crazy on Book Talk. Like, I just have always loved her, and so I just think it's so funny that like I had randomly picked it up right when these are getting popular again. But it's such a good series. If you don't know, if you've somehow not heard what these books are about, they're kind of, I've always explained it as like CSI but with teenagers, so it's YA fiction, thriller, I guess it'd be considered somewhat mystery. It's just such a good book series. So I was like, I just really want to pick that up and I want to reread them. It has been so long since I read them. that I like didn't even really remember what the main plot of the story was and like the mystery of it. So it was really cool. It felt like reading it for the first time again. As I've read it more, I kind of am starting to remember the different pieces, but they're just really great. They're very quick, easy reads, which is crazy for how much detail the author puts into these books. She's brilliant, and I sometimes think like it's so shocking that she writes YA fiction because of how good of an author she is. I'm so happy she writes YA fiction because these are very clean, no spice books, but you still get that thriller aspect. You still get some romance in it. Like, you still get all of the great parts of a book, but I'm loving these. I literally just finished Killer Instinct last night. So I want to pick up probably today the next book and start reading it off my bookshelf. I own all the books because they're just so good. Though I did learn that I think there's a novella for the end of the series, which I did not know about. Because I have the original copies of the books, I think it's just inserted in like the new editions. And I kind of want to read that. So now it's like, do I buy this one random book just for the novella, even though I have all the books already? We'll see. I'll have to see. I mean, maybe it does have the novella in it. I'll have to check and find out and see. But anyway, that is my very short, very quick reading wrap up. That is all I have. What is that? A total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 books. I read 7 books in 4 months. There are some people out there who are reading 7 books in a week. So I feel like a loser, but I'm doing my best, okay? Doing my best, and honestly, if I make it too much into a chore, then I dread reading, and I don't want to do that. It is what it is, but I am getting some reading done. I'm feeling better. I am looking forward to reading. I've got a few books that I'm like really wanting to read. So hopefully my next reading wrap-up video have a little bit more, or at least just be my normal 2 months and be around this amount of books. But anyway, that is everything that I have for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Of course, as always, if you did enjoy, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, to all of the YouTube things. But I will see you guys next time in my next video. Bye!
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down.